Okay. All right. So, does anyone need any deal sniper help? Let's start there.
Yeah, I would like some help with that.
Okay. And what exactly do you need?
Just overall how to use the software because I'm about to purchase it tomorrow when I get back in town, and I want to start spending a couple hours every day looking for properties on market.
All right. Let's see. Well, let's look at Cincinnati, Ohio. No, just Redfin in general. Okay. So let's show you how this works. So essentially, I'll just put in this address. And then let's go to, you guys take my map out? Why'd you do that? All right, let's do a different one. Okay. I will try to keep the coughing into the mic on a minimum. So basically, the way that Deal Sniper works is you go on whatever website you want to use, Redfin, Zillow, doesn't matter, and you're looking for on-market deals. You can set your settings to, show you the oldest deals or however you want to do it. That's entirely up to you. So what you do is you just pick one. So let's go this one here. One bedroom, one bath, condo. How long has it been on market? 25 days. So all I'm going to do is copy the address. I'm going to go over to Deal Sniper. I'm going to put the address in, hit search, and here's the deal. Okay, this is exactly what we were looking at on Zillow. So once you've got the information, you scroll down a little bit and you hit create a financing offer. Always select no unless you know for sure there's a mortgage and you have the terms. Okay, otherwise you hit no. So they are asking, let me go back to it. How much are they asking? They're asking $350,000. Okay. So Deal Sniper basically does all the numbers and the math for you. So your purchase price to them, your offer is going to be 380,000. Now, for those people who don't know, and or for anyone, just so your numbers look better, round them off. Okay, whatever it is, round it off. Um, Monthly payment 770. No, just um, what 780. Just do the 780. Down payment, taxes. Okay, that's fine. Holy crap! All right, so make sure you round your numbers off. And then here's for those of you that saw the message back and forth I was having with someone in the main chat earlier. You want to double check and make sure that your numbers are right. So how do you do that? You have to use the deal machine. You have to use the actual deal machine uh, from the Discord. Let me open mine up really quick. Okay, so let's put in the numbers that it actually gave us. All right. So we're going to give a purchase price 380,000. So we're offering them $30,000 over asking. You don't have to do that, and maybe that's a little too much, but it's giving you the max of what you can do. So if you do, once you get comfortable with creative financing, then you can mess around with the numbers a little bit. But in the meantime, let's put in exactly what they gave us. So they gave us a purchase price of 380,000. Okay. We had a loan amount of 353,400. Okay. We had a down payment of 26,400. All right. And then it also gave us the rent, right? 1812. Like I said, rounded off, so I'm just gonna go 1800. And then short-term rental did get us. I'll talk to everyone and see if that's something that we want to add in. And then just you click seller finance, you click the corresponding tab. Now we do have to change the taxes and insurance. So let's figure out what those are. So taxes for the year, 1452. And I'm sorry, insurance, and then taxes 2741. Okay. What was it? 1852? Let's see. Double check. 14. Okay. And then we also said that we would give them a monthly payment of $780. So that's where we put that. Now, it's very important that you learn what this actually means. Okay. So let's start from this column here. This column is what it looks like for the buyer. So when all is said and done, the buyer is going to be purchasing this property for a purchase price of $390,000. Sean, I thought it was 380. No, it's 390 because we added a $10,000 assignment fee. Seller finance, 354,400, $780 payment. That means when the buyer, the investor, whoever ends up taking this thing down, when they want to go to the closing table, they have to come in with $44,200, $36,400 for the down payment, $7,800 for closing costs. This consists of the $26,400 that we're giving to the seller, and then our $10,000 assignment fee. So this is what it looks like for the buyer for what they need to close. Here are the numbers. So rent, they're going to be getting, these are all yearly, by the way. So if there was an HOA, you put in the yearly number, not the monthly. So this deal is going to bring in $21,600 a year. You always want to put in at least 10% for your war chest. That's your vacancies, repairs, maintenance, capex reserves. That's for, when the big things break: water heater, furnace, roof, foundation, stuff like that. Got your taxes, you got your insurance, and your NOI, net operating income, $15,247. And then you have to count the seller finance, the money, the $780 you're giving them totals $9,360 every year. So for the buyer, when everything is said and done, everything that they need to pay is paid, and what they get to keep, $5,887 a year, which is a 13.32 cash on cash return. Sean, is that a good cash on cash return? No, it's right here. So it'll populate your number for you. Optimal range. Don't let the 30% or the 50% here throw you off. Does that mean if it's got more than 30% or 50%, it's a bad deal? No. It's just not too many long-term rentals and short-term rentals get that high. That's all. If you have one that goes that high, that's fantastic. Run with it.
So I have a question. Can this work for apartment buildings as well, like more commercial properties as well?
Absolutely. And we actually have a function here, which I'm going to do a separate training on for exactly that.
Gotcha.
This can absolutely work on apartment buildings, anything. All right.
And then last question, not to cut you off, but in regards to the assignment fee, what determines it being higher or it being lower? Is it the cash on cash return every year?
No. Well, that's a good question. So I'm going to give you the simple answer, and then I'll give you the more long-winded answer. The simple answer is no. And the simple answer is your assignment fee is coming off of the entry fee. So when you go to buy a house from a bank, 9 times out of 10, unless you're going to go FHA or VA, they're going to ask you to put down 20%. That's you, me, an investor, anybody. So the reason why investors like to come to wholesalers is because they can get a deal. They can get a deal, lower price, better terms than the bank. That's why this wholesaler financing, subject to this craze with creative financing, that's why it's picking up so much speed, because it works. It's really good. It works for everybody. So when we go to dispo this deal, meaning let's say we got them to agree to all this, right? We're not selling it to the buyer for this. We're selling it to them for $36,000 down. We're adding our $10,000 onto the down payment. So that way, even if they're paying that extra $10,000, it's still less than the 20% that they would have to pay if they were going to the bank. Therefore, they're getting a deal. Plus, with us, there's no entry. I'm sorry, there's no interest rate. So that's where the bulk of your money is going to be coming from when it comes to the assignment fee. Now, the reason why I say that's the easy answer, and it's no, is because there are different factors depending on the situation. So if your cash on cash return is really high, it's in the 20s, 30s, 50s, whatever, then yeah, an investor is going to want to pay more money for it. So then you can ultimately charge more money for it. So if you say, hey, I want, 20,000, I mean, what you're not telling them what you want, but if you're priced the deal out when you go to push it on your dispo materials and you're like, yeah, I want $20,000 for this one, then yeah, you can make more money on that deal because your cash on cash return is so good. Does that make sense?
Understood. And then in regards, I don't want to keep going off topic, but let's say, for example, because I'm looking right now on your screen, and we're talking about if in most cases they're not going to have a mortgage, but let's say we do know that there's a mortgage and we know what the interest rate is on that loan. How would that affect the calculator or the Deal Sniper software? Like, how would I input that?
So you're saying if you know for a fact they have a mortgage?
Yeah, for example, like I have a homeowner whose asking price was 380, I believe, or 385.
Do you have the mortgage
210,
balance?
yeah, 210,000 is the mortgage balance is at 3% interest rate.
Okay. So you just put the info in. What's the monthly payment?
They pay 1,800.
Okay. Boom. There you go.
Understood. Gotcha.
So when you get to the part where it says, go back, does the property have a mortgage? If you have the balance, the interest rate, and the monthly payment, just hit yes. And then it'll generate that letter for you. And as far as the calculator is concerned, that would be a hybrid. Unless it's a subject to situation. All right, so let me break that down really quick. So a subject to, very easily put, is when they have a mortgage and they just want a little bit of money or no money to walk away. We're going to service their mortgage payment. They're going to take, their $5, $10, $15,000 and then walk away. Leave us to our own devices with the house. That's a true subject to. A seller finance is when they have no mortgage. A hybrid is when they have a mortgage, but they don't just want a little bit of money to walk away. Their mortgage is $100,000, but they're selling the house for $200,000. We're not going to give them a $100,000 down payment. So what we have to do is do a subject to for their mortgage and then a seller finance for the rest of the money that they want. So those are the difference between the three.
Gotcha. And then another question that I have is in regards to obviously the reason you have Deal Sniper is so we can target on market properties and try to get good deals out of those for those who are willing to accept a creative offer. What are the certain components that you need in a listing to determine that is eligible for it being a what's it called a good deal or not? Because or like a candidate for a creative offer. I know a lot of it is volume based. It's a matter of like, okay, well, send 20 or 30 or 40 offers a day, and then there's bound to be two or three people who would find it interesting. But is there like specific like parameters that you look for? For example, a house that's been on the market for longer than 100 plus days. If they owe a huge, mortgage balance on the house, and you know what I mean, they bought it quite recently. Like, what are you looking for specifically?
So me personally, just because of, I'm trying to say this without sounding conceited. It's how it's going to sound, but I don't mean it this way. But I will target any house that's online because from how long I've been doing this and the knowledge that I have, there's no reason why I can't close them on something. Cash, subject to, hybrid, seller finance, wrap, land contract, novation. There's no reason why, if I'm talking to someone, I can't close them. So I don't have any real blocks. Like every house is just open. What I would stay away from is homes that are in not so populated areas. You're looking for a population of 750,000 or more. And then to what you said earlier, you're also looking for properties. I mean, excuse me. You When I say you're looking for properties that have been on market 60 plus days, those aren't the only ones you can go after. Those are just the ones that you're going to have a higher conversion rate for, because those people have already felt the pain of being on market. Some real Look, all these people who have their houses listed, all of them, all had the same thing happen. A realtor said, "Oh yeah, I can get this sold ASAP for this price." Every single one of them. So every person that's had their property on market less than 60 days is still in that, no, no, my realtor said they're going to get it done. 60 plus days, usually they're at the point where they're like, yeah, that I got sold, but now I'm in a contract. I do want to sell my house. Somebody help me. And then that's where you step in to help them. So you don't have to go for houses that have been listed for a long time. Your conversion rate is just going to be higher because those people have already felt the pain. They're out of the honeymoon phase and the excitement of getting their property listed. Now they just want it gone. They want their money.
Okay. And then question for you. What if
Hey, last one though, because I got other questions.
okay, no, I
For people
completely
that have
understand.
questions.
Completely understand. So, for example, something that I know because I know there's a lot. I've dealt with this personally in regards to other components of business, like in terms of contracting and all that. But for example, you run across a realtor who does not want to present that offer to a homeowner, although that might be their fiduciary responsibility and they have to, but they won't because they're afraid of not getting their commission. How do you overcome that objection?
That depends. Are they telling like how? I don't know how that happens. How do you know they're not doing it because they're afraid they won't get their commission?
Um, I'm just assuming, you know what I mean? Because
Oh,
I'm not saying like that's something that I've come across yet because I haven't gotten the software yet. But most cases, for with when I'm working with realtors and whatnot, the biggest thing on their brain is, am I going to get my commission or no? And that's why I'm just coming off the assumption that they would not present that offer, especially because there's like two realtors that I've spoken to who know traditional deals. Like, okay, you want to buy the house, you pay a cash lump sum for it. They don't really know any other avenue of creative or sub two or hybrid, and they're just afraid of it. You know what I mean? Because we
sure.
tend to be afraid of what we don't know, and so do we try to go over their heads and go to the owner directly, or what do we do in that situation?
So that depends on the situation. If I talk to a realtor, and this is going to come with experience, so I apologize in advance. I hate when people give me this answer because it means I have to wait, and I'm not a big fan of waiting. But it is the truth. That's going to come with experience on how you handle it. It'll get to a point where you'll be able to hear in their voice and what they're saying if they're purposefully stonewalling you, or if they've already had this conversation with the seller, someone's already offered them seller finance or creative, and their client really doesn't want that. You can hear that in their voice. So if they're just being difficult, yeah, I would skip trace the house and go behind their back or over their head, however you want to word it. I would make that my last resort, but yeah, that's definitely something that I would do. I wouldn't. If someone says, if you reach out to someone and they say, and they respond back to you, or you call them and you talk to them and they say, oh yeah, no, we're not doing that. And then you ask, well, are you going to even present my offer? Depending on what their answer is to that question will determine if I'm going to go over their head or not. I'm going to try not to, because I truly believe we should all be working together. If we work together, this would go a lot easier and more people get paid. You can alter what you say in your conversation when you're explaining it. At the end, you can say, or at the beginning, you say, obviously, this is a creative deal. And a lot of realtors, when I talk to, if they don't have a lot of experience with creative, they're concerned about their commission. Rest assured, your commission works exactly the same. Chances are I might even be paying it for them. So don't worry about that. But here's my offer. You can start that. Sure. Let them know out the gate, hey, your commission is getting paid. Don't worry about it. And shit, I might be the one paying it. I would try that.
Perfect.
All right. Who has their hands up? Mike? What's up, Mike?
Yeah, how you doing? So I just had a question. So for these type of houses and stuff like that, obviously, would it be better if the house is already like renovated and move-in ready, or does it also work for the ones that need to be a fix and flip?
Okay. So I've actually talked to a few people to get some opinions from some other wholesalers who are really deep into creative. Here's what I was told. If the house needs a full gut, and I mean it needs kitchens, bathrooms, flooring, paint, water heater, furnace, all new if it needs everything, then on your purchase price, you're giving them 80% of their asking price. So how this other one, they listed it for 350. We gave them an offer of 380. That's because it was completely flipped. I don't know if you guys all saw that. I can go back to it if you want.
Yes.
So, I mean, as you can see from the inside, floor's new, kitchen's old, but it's clean. You know what I mean? We don't have, bottom line is when you're doing creative and if you don't have to put any money into it, you got to remember these people aren't flipping these houses. These buyers aren't flipping a creative deal. It's for a buy and hold. It's for a tenant. So if they don't have to put any work into it, you can consider it flipped on a creative deal, even if everything's not brand new. Okay. So in this situation, yeah, you can give them their asking price. You can give them more than their asking price. No problem. If this place was jacked up, the floors were jacked up, the bathroom was jacked up, there's no washer and dryer, everything's messed up, I give them 80% of what they had it listed for. That would be the purchase price. And then I base my numbers off of that.
Okay, so 350 from this house, basically?
Yeah, so if this house was messed up and it needed everything, and they were asking 350, I would give them a purchase price of 280,000 with like $12,000, $12 to $15,000 cash in their pocket at closing, and $350 to $500 a month. That would be my offer. And if they say, well, why? Well, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, no disrespect, but I can see the photos. Your house needs $45,000, $50,000 worth of work. If it didn't need that, I'd give it to you. But since it does, I'm taking that off the purchase price. Plus, I'm going to cover all your closing costs. And it's going to take me, 3 to 4 months to get the place fixed up before I can put a tenant in there and make any money. So I don't mind being in the red for a little bit, but I'm not going to be in the red that much for that long. So this is what I would offer you. And that's what I would say.
Okay. Yeah, I appreciate you.
No worries. Any other questions?
Yeah, I have a question. So, circle back to me. I completely lost my head. My fault.
That's all right. It happens. Just let me know when you remember. Okay, so that's how Deal Sniper works. How should you be using it? You should be using Deal Sniper to send out at least 20 offers a day. It's very simple. There's somebody in the chat. I do not remember his name, but I'll ask tomorrow and I'll post it for everybody to see. He has already got 2 or 3 deals that he's getting under contract. Already. No experience wholesaling whatsoever. Saw a TikToker, Calvin put something out there, joined, sent out 20, sent out another 20, sent out another 20, about to put 2 or 3 deals under contract. Very simple.
And one more question.
What's up?
So for the Deal Sniper stuff like that, what specific places do you think are the best to look in?
What do you mean?
You have a particular like place, like state that you would look in?
Yeah. Sure. Texas is good. All the major cities in Texas, Houston, Dallas, what's the other one? San Antonio, Corpus Christi, kinda. Let's see, you can do Birmingham is a good place. What's another one? In pretty much any big city in Florida. Miami, Jacksonville, Tampa. Same thing with Ohio. Cincinnati and Columbus seem to be pretty good right now. Kansas City is a good one. Missouri is a good one. What else? I think that's it for now. I mean, again, here's the thing. If you're planning on using my team for disposition, we've got buyers anywhere where there's a population of 750,000 or more. So target that.
Okay, so okay. Now I remembered my question. So I live in Richmond, Virginia. That's a population of almost, say, 250,000 people. Is
Mhm.
that a market that I would stray away from?
I
And
would.
okay, so just focus on big cities with 750 plus.
Yep.
Okay, so do you think I should aim up north, for example, like DC area, um, Arlington, Alexandria, places like that?
I would.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, and here's the thing. Everyone's worried about, well, oh, I don't want to go to a bigger area because that's where the bigger and the more experienced wholesalers are. So what? So what? What are the chances of you guys sending in an offer on the same property as one of them? Well, let me show you guys something real quick. Has anyone ever heard of Corona, California?
Hell no.
Okay. Well, just in this small part of Corona, California, here are the houses that are for sale. We're at 14,246, and I haven't even finished zooming out yet. So go to a big area, and who gives a shit if you have competition? Competition is good. It makes you good. It makes you better. I'm at 56,492 homes just in this tiny part of California. So yeah, go to a big area. However, stay the hell away from California.
Okay, I have two questions for you. Number one, let's say I'm gonna do this, right? I'm locked in. I want to focus on that, and I feel like in terms of volume, this is something that I can consistently do every day, right? So in regards to proof of funds, how does that work for somebody who's a college student who's broke as fuck? What do I present to a realtor?
That's a good question. I'm glad you asked that. Here's your list. Biggest cities. Just Google it. Okay. So yes, the rules for POFs have changed as of January 1st. And honestly, I like it. I liked it. I like it, and I wish they would have done it earlier. It is and should have always been illegal to send out a POF that is not yours. I know a lot of people like to send out PACEs or whoever's. Don't do that, because now you can actually go to jail. Like, it's not just a slap on the wrist. They're looking for you. So what do you do? Hold on one second. I don't want to cough in the phone. So what do you do? It's very simple. This realtor asks for a POF. Now, if you are doing this the way that all the rest of the training that I've put out says, you're identifying yourself as a wholesaler. You should be identifying yourself as a wholesaler. If you want to be sneaky about it, be sneaky about it. Fine. But you want to identify yourself as a wholesaler because you can use that as leverage. You can also use it to dodge a bullet if you ever need to. I'm going to show you how to use it as leverage. A realtor asks you for proof of funds. Oh, yeah, Mr. Realtor, that's no problem. I'll tell you what. I've got 5 buyers that exclusively work for me in the Denver area. They've been buying for me for years, and this is the type of properties that I hunt for them. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to send you a contract. Not going to be anything crazy. I'm going to put it in there for 2 weeks. Okay, 14 business days. That'll give me enough time to shoot this over to them. They can do their little due diligence with their numbers, make sure this is what they want. The moment I identify which one of them is going to move forward, I'll send you their proof of funds, and we'll also put down EMD within 48 hours. How about that?
Okay,
Done.
so you're wanting to lock it down under contract before taking it to your buyers and providing them with a POF?
Absolutely. Because
Okay.
legally, we cannot market a property we don't have under contract. And not only that, even if it was All right. Yeah, I did. Sorry about that. I hit the button by mistake. Thankfully, I didn't end the call for all you guys. You're gonna have to repeat your question for me.
Yeah, so so you said in before what's it called? Because I have to number one identify myself as a wholesaler, so that way I can get them under contract within 48 hours. I can get them POF from several of my quote unquote buyers.
No. Not with it. No. You got to say that right. Okay, good.
Okay.
I'm glad. That's okay. I'm the one that cut off. Don't trip.
Mhm.
When I forgot to let me finish recording. Is it still recording?
It's
Oh,
still
I guess it is.
recording.
Okay, cool. So what you're saying is, look, I've been doing. Here's what you're trying to convey, and you're trying to say this without saying it. You're trying to say, look, Mr. and Mrs. Realtor, I've got buyers that will not talk to you. They don't like realtors for whatever reason. Me personally, Mr. and Mrs. Realtor, I think they're a little hoo-ha. I love you guys, but they don't deal with realtors. They've all had really bad experiences, so they deal with me. So my process is that I put it under contract because legally I can't market the property without it. I will send over the package to them. I only have 5, and I'm only asking you for 14 days. 14 days are going to pass no matter what. The only difference is with me, 14 days can pass and we can have this thing pretty much locked up and ready to close. Or at the very least, I'll give it to them. And if they pass on it, I can bring back some valuable information as to why they pass on it. And maybe you guys can do some adjustments on your end and still get the house sold. Still a win-win, right? That's what you're saying to them. Now, the problem with you guys saying it is that you're new. You're afraid to say that, or you don't have the confidence. You want to say it, but you're not going to sound like me. You know, the last time I had someone ask me for a proof of funds, it's like 2.5 years ago. Because the way that I carry myself on the phone, or the way that I posture myself, or the way that I show that I'm knowledgeable without being arrogant, they're like, oh yeah, this guy's the real deal. They don't even ask. They're going to ask you guys if you sound like you're new. And you should hope that they ask. Absolutely. And then you can just, boom, flip it on it. Absolutely, Mr. Realtor. I'll tell you what. My buyers, they only deal with me. They don't deal with realtors. They've all had bad experiences. Go figure. I love realtors. I love you guys. You guys make my life a lot easier. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to send you a contract, send it to your buyers. Okay. As long as they're ready to, or send it to your sellers, as long as they're in agreement with the deal. Once that's signed, then I can legally push this to my buyers. Whichever one of them wants to take it, I'll know within 2 weeks which one of them wants to take it and, you know, walk the property, do their due diligence. And then as soon as I've identified that buyer, I will send over a proof of funds and we can put down EMD within 48 hours. That's how you say it.
Got you.
So it's within 48 hours after you've identified the buyer, not within 48 hours of signing the contract.
Understood. And that's within that 2-week period that I promised them. Hey, look, I'll
Absolutely.
Got you.
Mike, what's up?
Yeah, so for the so you said for the EMD and stuff, if I put it in EMD due post inspection and then I'll put if EMD is not submitted, contract is voided, is that fine?
You can, but that's gonna make you look bad. If a realtor catches that, they're gonna start getting suspicious.
Okay.
Instead of that, I would just make sure you have a good system to track your deals. I use a big ass whiteboard. It's one of my walls in my office is a whiteboard, and every deal that I have a hand in is there, along with the date next to it.
Okay.
So instead of putting that in your contract, I would leave that last part out, and then just have a system, an alarm on your phone or something where if you don't have a buyer the day before inspection ends, call the real estate agent, say, hey, you know what? No good. We're going to go ahead and cancel this contract out.
And that's what I can do. Like if I want to back out, I'll just call them and just be like, I want to cancel the.
Here's what I always do. Oh, here's what you don't do. Okay. I'm about to do an interview with a couple of my realtors I've been working with for years as to why realtors don't like wholesalers and how we can fix it. One of the things that I discovered, which again, common decency, people nowadays are assholes. Don't just ghost them. Do you have any idea how many real estate or how many wholesalers tell me, "Oh yeah, when EMD runs out or inspection period runs out, I just ghost them. I just don't even answer. I never even answer the phone." You're making yourself and all other wholesalers like these laws that are coming out for against us. That's because of people like them. Don't add to it. I won't even fucking work with you if I find out you do that.
Okay.
So just tell them the truth. Say, hey, you know what? All of them passed on it. I don't have anyone else that's willing to take it, so I'm gonna go ahead and cancel out. But here's what I do: I send them an email or a text message, something in writing, and that's time stamped because obviously this is dealing with time frames. Hey, Mr. and Mrs. Realtor, bad news. I don't have anyone. The person that was interested backed out. Whatever you end up saying. So it looks like since the inspection period is over tomorrow, I'm going to go ahead and cancel out the contract now, and I will give you a call a little bit later to discuss further. That's your text. That's your email. Because one, it does a couple of things. One, it lets them know we're canceling. It lets them know why we're canceling. And then instead of you just disappearing like a person with their tail stuck between their legs, you're saying, I will call you later to discuss. Then you have to actually call them later, even if it's just to reiterate what you said in the email. Yeah, we had a buyer. Seemed like he was ready to go, but as soon as I tried to get him to pull the trigger, he changed his mind. I don't have anyone else, and I don't want to be on the hook for the EMD. So maybe we'll try it again next time. Please keep me in mind if you have any other properties. Don't judge me on this one. This is a rare situation where my buyers didn't take it. And that's it.
So I have another question in regards to, obviously we want to send as many offers as we can every day. Do you suggest that we call the realtor to just try to build rapport and let them know, hey, look, you should check your inbox. I sent in an offer, or is that something like they should hold off on to see if they're interested and then reach out?
Yeah, I wouldn't waste my time doing that unless you're someone that wants to practice talking to a realtor, which I'm not against that at all. Practice makes permanent. So if you permanently get good at it, then great. But for now, they'll let you know if they like your offer. And they saw it. Any realtor that has an active listing, they see all their emails, especially ones that say offer on it. You back, they didn't like your offer.
And if you don't see the email, but you see like the phone number and stuff, can I just send over it through the phone?
I wouldn't do that.
So I'll try to find out like the email.
I would call the realtor. Hey, Mike, this is Sean. I'm looking at your property online, 123 Main Street. I've got an offer that I wanted to submit, but I looked at the listing and I don't see your email address. Can you text that to me? This is my cell phone number. Thank you. That's it. Call them, text them both those things. Hey, I just saw your listing. I'm ready to put in an offer, but your email address isn't on the listing. Can you text that to me? And then check your inbox in about 5 minutes. You can do that.
Okay.
Text or phone call, doesn't matter.
And then for like when you see on like the Deal Sniper and stuff like that, just to make sure like, oh, okay, like this is a house that I would want to even submit an offer to.
Wait, would you say that again? I don't understand what you're asking.
Like, how would I know if like it's a good deal, like for like to even submit the offer? Like I wouldn't just randomly go at somewhere and just start sending offers out, right?
No, you would use Deal Sniper you'd pick an area, whatever area you want to market, Jacksonville, Florida, on Zillow, and then just start looking for addresses of properties that are on market 60 plus days. Oh, pro tip, look for houses that are vacant or stay away from houses that are not vacant when you look at the photos online. And here's why. People who currently live in the house, chances are they're going to need a bunch of money to move into another house, more than your down payment. So if the house is already vacant, they're not living there, then they probably don't need the money as much as if someone was like going to be using the proceeds to actually move.
Yeah, but like in Zillow or like in Redfin or wherever I look at it, yes, I put the 90 days over and stuff like that, but then all those houses I could just start spamming, like you just start sending offers out.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
Just put all those addresses in the Deal Sniper, one after another, after another, after another. Absolutely.
Okay, cool. I thought like it was like, okay, like this deal, you don't even I shouldn't even entertain because this, and that. But okay.
The only thing that you guys should be staying away from, other than properties that are just recently listed, are properties that need a ton of work.
Okay.
If it needs a ton of work, you can put in an offer on it. That's fine. Just make sure you adjust your numbers.
Okay.
Make sure you're not offering over asking. I would offer, if it needs a bunch of work, I would offer only what it's listed for.
Okay. Or less.
I mean, you can, if it's that much work. Look, if you look at a property and you're like, oh yeah, I should offer less. If your gut's just telling you that, then offer less. Yeah.
Okay.
Not ridiculously less.
No, yeah, of course.
I would say no more than $20,000 or $30,000 less, depending on how bad it is. Because you still want the offer to be attractive. That's why Deal Sniper throws so much on the purchase price out the gate.
Okay. Thank
All
you.
right, no problem. Any other questions?
Yeah, I had one. I'm using Redfin. Seems to be better than Zillow.
I like Redfin more too.
And initially, when I started, I put in a couple offers, and it put me with this one specific realtor, and he never replied back. So I called another one, and then they said that they were going to have to deactivate the realtor that I was going through to get another one. She asked me, well, do you want to do that? I said, that's fine. They never got back to me. I don't care. So we set up a meeting. I talked to this lady, and, she said, okay. I told her about 3 or 4 properties. And then she said, if you find anything else, then, send it to me and, I'll look it over. So then I sent over about 20 over the weekend, I guess. And then she sent me to her assistant. And then her assistant, I told her, what I was doing, but I didn't tell her that I was wholesaling. Maybe that I should have. I just told her I was an investor. We're looking at rental properties in the area. And she said, oh, I've done rental properties. And she was like, what you're doing, this doesn't make sense. And, then I started getting into, we're looking at vacancy repairs, CapEx reserves, and all these things. And then her tone kind of changed, and I told her, that not everybody's situation is going to be the same. She's like, hey, everybody, they're going to be wanting 10% for their interest rate on the property, and that's the only reason that they would do it, and this and that. I just don't know. I mean, do we have to go through the same realtor on Red?
Fuck no. Fuck no. That realtor sounded not good. This is being recorded, so let me be careful what I say.
Right. So
that realtor sounded not smart at all. If you had look, I say this more about me and people at the level. This is going to sound fucking terrible. Wow. Not for you guys, but for people who have been doing creative financing for a little bit, who have a pretty good understanding of how it works. Those people are smarter than 90% of the realtors that are out there. Subject 2 is like chapter 5 in the book that they have to read. And not one realtor that I've ever talked to has known what it was. And they're required to study and test on it. So when it comes to, look, don't argue with a realtor, because it's like arguing with like a cop arguing with like an FBI agent. You know what I mean? The way that they look at us is just different. So don't do it. Just say, oh, okay, cool. And then immediately get another realtor. That's all. It's just easier. Why argue with a tree? It's not going to go anywhere. But yeah, if you start getting realtors that just start ripping apart what you're doing, obviously they're not aligned with what you're trying to accomplish. And they're all going to want 10%. That's not smart. So yeah, I would just stay away from realtors like that. If you don't mesh with one,
another one tomorrow.
Yeah, if you don't mesh with a realtor, there's as many realtors as there are houses for sale.
Yeah,
You're good.
I mean, I still have all the offers, and then they're actually really good, And I guess one other question I had real quick is that on some of these, I find that the long-term rental and the Section 8 rental, there's a big gap, and I don't know if those are houses that we really want to get, or maybe if it's just a glitch or something.
Wait,
Because
what do you mean there's a big gap?
some of them I found it's like 500. I've seen one as high as $1,000 difference in the rental between Section 8 and long term.
Well, yeah, Section 8 typically pays more.
Yeah. So, but that's what I'm saying. If you find one that, I mean, but the cash on cash is through the roof on these. When you can find one that's like 500 above, the long term rental, like a Section 8 buyer would definitely want to get, I'm sure. So I'm just
Yeah, no, that's definitely that's a strategy that quite a few people use, where they will only go after Section 8 properties because it's guaranteed rent from the city, and it's usually more than what the standard rent is. However, with that comes with, it's usually a rougher area that house lives in. You're probably going to have to pay more to rehab properties and things like that. So they have their own headaches. But yeah, that's normal, but I'll look into it.
Okay.
Mike, what's up?
Yeah, so I had a question. So for the houses and stuff like that, I saw like, obviously that the one that you said for 350K, but would it be better and more appealing towards the buyer if it's maybe like under 150K, and then also because of the interest rate, it's going to be like whatever the interest rate, like you can go a little bit more higher in the interest rate if maybe the agent wants to negotiate those terms?
So when it comes to the price of the house, there's a buyer for every price point for a house. I did tell a lot of people in the beginning, and I'll tell you guys too, stick to average home prices. Like when I did that Corona one, there was 1,800,000, 700, 900. I clicked on the one for 350.
Okay.
So now, that doesn't mean like if you come across a house that's 400,000, don't do it. It's just the more expensive the house is, even under creative, you still have a smaller pool of people that can actually afford it.
Yeah.
So just, keep it average. There's no benefit to going a lot lower, 150,000, other than lower entry fees. So the lower of the price, the more technically, the more buyers have access to the funds to buy it from you. So that's a positive. But other than that, it won't affect the cash on cash return, because the smaller the property, the cheaper it's going to be, the less it's going to rent for. So it's all relative.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
No problem. All right. Who else has a question? Awesome. I'm the best teacher in the world. Great. I got to come up with a new joke. I've been saying that shit for a year. Okay. So I have two things that we can go over for the last couple of minutes. We can go over the deal machine calculator, or we can go over scenario specific questions for how you should be following up with these emails that you're sending out. Which would you guys prefer?
Following with the email sending it?
Follow up.
Okay. Anybody not want follow-up? Cool. So here's what I would do. This is going to be tedious, but here's how I envisioned it when Deal Sniper was, first coming about. A Google Sheet and 20 a day. So yeah, but think about it. If you go to Realtor, right, or Redfin, Zillow, and you copy the address and paste it, you still have it copied on your clipboard. Just paste it on a Google Sheet. Here's the address, and then put in, the rest of the information. Or put in a copy of the letter right next to the address, right there in the Google Sheet.
How do you feel about Podio?
Podio's fine. We use Podio for our contracts. I've used almost every CRM. I've used Podio. I've used Pipedrive, Go High Level, Asana. I've used Salesforce. I've used I don't remember what the fuck. What was that other one called? Powerline? Proline? Anyway, I've used them all. They're all pretty much the fucking same.
Okay.
But I'm a huge proponent of when I started doing this. Before I was a wholesaler, I was a clinical and marketing director for a hospice company, which is a fancy way of saying I went out and sold doctors on sending me their patients that were dying and needed hospice. Okay. And the reason why I did that, I like people. You guys can tell I like helping people. I don't need shit. I'll just help you. People want to say, Sean, let me pay you for just when someone needs help, help them. That's payment for me. The reason why I switched is I kept seeing Kang's TikToks. You guys know Kang, the Moni guy? I kept seeing his TikToks. And at the same time, I got tired of my friends dying. I make friends with people very quick. So all my patients who all had terminally ill diseases, they died a lot. That was my job. And I got tired of it. So I jumped into wholesaling. From there to this, I didn't have a ton of money. And I don't want to, I'm not a huge, like I have an Android because I don't want to pay for music. You know what I mean? I'm that guy. So if there's a way to do it for free, do it for free. When I was not at the level that I'm at now, I shopped at Walmart. I'm at the level that I'm at now. I still shop at Walmart. I don't, you know what I mean? So you can sign up for Podio. You can sign up for, same thing with batch leads versus PropWire. I have batch leads. I don't use batch leads. The only reason I have it is because it's a company account. If it wasn't for that, I would use Redfin because Redfin's free and it's got everything else that I need. The only thing it doesn't have is skip tracing. You can skip trace. There's a bunch of companies you can skip trace through. You don't need batch leads. You don't need Privy. You don't need PropWire. You don't need Podio. You don't need Asana or Go High Level. Use a Google Sheet. Because think about it. Whatever CRM you want to use, you still have to upload the information. So what's the difference if you upload it to Podio or if you copy and paste it into a Google Sheet? You still got to do the work. Having a CRM doesn't make it any easier. That's just my opinion. You guys do whatever works for you, though. So you put it in the Google Sheet, and then I would put, let's see, how would I set this up? It would be the address. It would be probably the realtor email or phone number, whichever one I've got, and then a copy of the letter and maybe the date that I put it there. That's it. That would be it would be 5 boxes, 5 columns. The date, the address, realtor information, and then the letter, because then I have the terms. So that way, if they call me back, a realtor calls, ring, ring. Hello, this is Sean. Yeah, I got an offer on this property that, oh, what was the address? They tell me the address. I go to the Google Sheet. I look it up. Now I got the realtor's name. Yeah, I offered this, and this. What questions can I answer for you? And that's it. You're ready to rock and roll. You can do the exact same thing on Podio. That's the database that I would set. Because if you're actually doing 100 a week, there's a chance you're going to double dip if you don't keep track of it. So that's what I would do. Unless you bust out a map and you want to do it by grid, you can do that too if you want. But that's not how I would do it. I would use a Google Sheet or Podio or whatever other CRM you guys want to use. Any more questions? Cool. I'm going to leave you guys with this last thing.
I just had one real quick.
Go for it.
I think you said, as far as this seller finance, we want to try to stay away from, a percent interest. But if your cash on cash is like, or say around 40%, would that be something that we could consider giving them a higher monthly payment?
Oh, yeah. You're the cash on cash return minimum is 10%.
Okay.
So as long as your deal is above 10, now there's a couple of guidelines. You got to remember, don't make it worse than if they went to the bank. So I
Right.
don't want you to think, oh, well then I can give them 10% interest. No, you can't, because why would they do that? They would just go to the buyer, would just go to the bank and get a loan.
Okay.
You know, you don't want the entry fee, the down payment too high. When we go and buy, and because I'm going to teach you guys this too. For those of you that are new, my goal for all this that I do 18 hours a day in all the discords, making the videos, doing these trainings, is to get you guys not to need me anymore. So I'm going to teach you guys how to dispo deals. But until you learn how to dispo deals, I'm going to tell you right now, when we dispo your deal for you, we're going to be selling it for 12 to 15% to the buyer. So if you get it under contract for 10%, then the most you can make is 5% on the deal, because we're going to sell it for 12 to 15%. But if you get the entry fee to, let's say, 5%, now you can make 10% on the deal, because we're still going to sell it for 12 to 15% to the buyer. So there are certain thresholds you don't want to cross. You don't want the interest rate higher than today's interest rates. And you don't want the down payment really higher than 10%, regardless of, let me take that back. Yes, keep those rules in place, unless it's either a multifamily situation, like apartment complexes or more than 4 units, or a very, very strong short-term rental. And by very strong, I mean it's a short-term rental. It has been a short-term rental. It's cash flowing, and the only reason the seller wants to sell it is because they're retiring. Then you can tweak the numbers a little bit more. But other than that, I would stick within the thresholds. Or just ask me. Shit, I'll tell you.
I have a question.
What's up?
So for like the deals and stuff like that, once I get like the deal, put it on Deal Sniper and stuff like that, put it in the creative section. Then I put it into the calculator.
Are you asking me that?
Yeah.
Oh, I would. Well, you know what? Fuck it. Yeah, I would. I
Okay.
absolutely would. Now, you might be thinking, okay, 20 times a day, Sean, that's a lot.
You cut off.
Anyway, it should only take you about 2 minutes to put the numbers into the Deal Machine calculator under Seller Finance, because Deal Sniper gives you all the numbers. It gives you the taxes, it gives you the insurance, it gives you the PITI, I'm sorry, the rent, it gives you everything. You literally have to data entry 6 spots and click a button to see if the numbers that Deal Sniper gave you are all you're checking. Is this deal above 10% cash on cash return? That's it. You're looking at one square. If it's above, cool, hit send. If it's not, then, I would move on to another deal. Chances are that won't happen, but get into the habit of checking your deal, because there's nothing for a lot of you guys is going to be your first deal, your first time getting one under contract and getting across the finish line. There's nothing worse. There's one thing worse, but there's almost nothing worse than you put the deal, you find the property, you put the thing into Deal Sniper, everything looks good, you send it to the realtor, they say, fuck yeah, we'll take it. And then we go to sell it, you give it to me, and I underwrite the deal, because I underwrite every deal that comes through. And I'm like, yeah, this doesn't work. And now you've got to go back and tell the realtor, no, never mind. You're going to be devastated. So yeah, take an extra 2 minutes. If it takes you 5 minutes per deal every single day, we're talking 2 hours worth of work to send out 20 deals a day properly. Get into the habit of doing it.
Okay. Gotcha. Okay, and then also for like once like it happens for like the deal, the buyer, the seller wants to sell the house and stuff like that, and you got it, and you want to send over a contract.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like, do you guys like provide that, or like do we just make our own contract?
No, we'll send out a contract for you. So we'll send out, all you do is you'll fill in in Discord, there's a deal submission channel. You click the link, fill in the information. It'll come in on the back end. We'll fill it out, send it out for you. It'll go to you first. You can look it over, make sure the numbers are right. Then you sign it. Once you sign it, it goes directly to the seller.
Alrighty, and then just one question for the
Sure.
when you say 10% cash on cash return, can you just show us like how does it look on the calculator for it to look like that? Like would it like turn green or something?
Oh no, it doesn't turn green or anything like that. No, the reason why I got kicked out of this thing a second ago, I don't know what I did, but I snapped something on my computer, and it keeps kicking me out of Google Chrome. So I will show you guys how to do it. What I'll do is I'll put a video out going through the calculator and showing you guys how to do it. I'll just post that for you guys because right now I have to switch to my cell phone.
Alrighty, yes, please, thank you.
But yeah, I can definitely do that.
Yeah, thank you, I appreciate it.
No worries. Anybody else got any other questions? All right, cool. So Wednesday's training, we're going to be going very heavy into the calculator. That was already part of the plan. And then that's going to be the first 30 minutes. The last 30 minutes, we're going to be role playing. So I suggest you guys be on that one. If not, it'll be recorded like this one, and we'll just go from there. All right.
Is there a set schedule for what days there's going to be the meetings?
Yeah, Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 6 p.m. Central.
Thank you. It's sorry, it's because I'm new, so I just wanted to.
No, it's all good. And then what I'll also do, all the trainings will be recorded. They're all on my YouTube channel. And the link for that is in the Discord. So you guys can go there. There's wholesaling 101, cash deals. Look, everything's there. It's the video library.
Okay. 6 p.m. Central, right?
Yep.
Appreciate you.
Oh, one other thing for you new people. If you want to know how you sound on the phone, the next time you're talking to realtors, record it and email it to me. I'll literally review them on Fridays. That's what I'm planning on doing, is reviewing everyone's phone calls and then giving you guys tips on what to do next time differently. All right?
Appreciate it.
Not a problem. You guys have a great night. What?
It sounds good.
All right, perfect. You guys have a good night. I'll talk to you later.
Thank you, you too. Have a good one.
Peace out. Have a good one.
See ya.
Thanks, Mr. Sean.
No worries.